Hey, what's up there, guys? It's I don't know, sometime in September 11th or so, September 12th. Because it's right around midnight, so I don't know. I used to do videos a lot more often. Let me try to get in some light, I guess. There we go. I like this lighting right here. I just watched a YouTube video. When I first started YouTube back in 2008, my thing was a little more music. I have a liberal arts degree, associate's degree from a community college. I transferred to a four-year college. I got a bachelor's. Always wanted to go back and get my master's, but never did it. They're doing a lot of construction in this place. A lot of trucks going by and moving sand and moving equipment. Anyhow, I started off a little more music, and I play a little guitar, and it's a little complicated to rehash this in a short video. I want this to be 10 minutes or less, but it was something I didn't take very seriously for some reason or another. I was having fun. I wanted to be like a cyber roommate, something like that. But being the liberal arts student that I was, I don't just play guitar. I write books. So it's hilarious, right? And there's a lot on my mind. I'm in the middle of my third book as a new pseudonym. Actually, I'm using my actual name now. Eddie Corona is what I'm using, my birth name. But I wrote one of them doesn't count, so I wrote a book every year from 2003 to 2009, basically. And I was a lot more reactionary. This is just a simple draft of the beginning of a book I'm working on. I'm about 70 pages through it. Anyhow, trying to get some of the stuff, off my chest and out in the open. My book intentionally stalled a couple of months ago. I changed jobs twice within a 2-week period, and then I got called back to a job that I was on for a few months, and I liked that job and the people and everything. But I figured I was going to let the story rest. And lately, within these last couple books, I'm not real big into chapters. I just like chapters at a time. I was in a ecology class back in the 90s. And when you're going down like Pacific Coast Highway, let's say, there might be signs here or there about, turn off and, scenic view, stuff like that, right? And that's where a lot of people get their ideas, and they stop along the side of the road, and then people out there snapping pictures and stuff of the ocean and the cliffs and the breaking waves and all, right? And my teacher back then pretty much challenged us. He's like, do you really need a sign to tell you what's beautiful? Basically, do you need life to tell you when one thing starts and another stops? So what I try to do in my books, lately at least, is try to let them flow a little more. And you determine when it's right to stop reading one part and continue another, and someone might decide something else. I went to a funeral this past weekend, 2 days ago on Saturday. A guy I hadn't seen in many years, And he was my godparent, one of my godparents, but certain parts of the family just kind of got shedded off. And he was a self-made millionaire, tens of millions of dollars. I'm not going to go into detail on it. I think he got cremated because, there's an urn there and all, but I've been writing these last couple of books about how the wealthy people operate with just a shred, because of college and because of family, with just a shred of real life experience. This book, Cretins, features this villain that doesn't care about the masses, and he's one of the kind of guys that'll shut down a factory and not care that the whole town goes into oblivion. And then art reflects life, so he eventually gets soft. And I've seen this happen publicly, where someone gets soft, the Speaker of the House or whatever, and it's the political party you're part of, it'll turn on you. Kind of like Jerry Maguire, right? Jerry Maguire, when he writes his manifesto to make it a better company and be a little more personable and everything, and they ousted him. And that's just the nature of life, and a person's not stronger than the structure he's around very often, right? So that's one of the themes, and I'm always trying to evolve something fanciful. Since I changed my pseudonym in Thermite, it was robots, artificial intelligence. In the second book, Kiribati, it was cryptids, It's like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabras, that thing. And this one, I started studying quantum physics and dimension doors and parallel universes, and credible teachers in very expensive schools are serious about these things, where they're learning more about quantum mechanics and all. So, hey, it's fiction. It's fiction, so everything's fair game. But, I started writing about the zone of silence in Mexico. The nickname is the Mexican Bermuda Triangle. And then I started writing about the Bermuda Triangle. And then Japan has one. It's called the Dragon's Triangle, actually. It goes from the Sea of Japan to northern Philippines to some remote island, Guam or something. Anyhow, I enjoyed this fucking book, man. I enjoyed this goddamn book. I'm going to mention something, though. I'll mention this because I got a couple minutes. I like to keep these at 10 minutes or less. There was a girl author, and, I follow a few of them. I love YouTubers. Like I said, my YouTube journey started off watching guitarists, people that play acoustic guitar. And I admire them until I stopped playing guitar. I still play guitar once in a long while, just not a lot. And then I started emphasizing my creative, juices flowed towards writing. So I started watching some of these authors and, fascinating people. You get to watch their journey. But I'm a pantser. I'm a pure pantser. I wrote one book, and I love the book, actually. I just can't do it anymore. I wrote one book outlined. That was Title, a book called Title. There's a loose outline at that. But what I do is I have 9 main notebooks. And everything goes into them. And stupid as it sounds, I have Trivial Pursuit cookies inside. And I have categories, in my notebooks about loosely based around Trivial Pursuit and then some, It could be arts and leisure, you got history, you got sports, science, etc., right? So I try to make sure in the course of a book, try to hit a little of everything. but stick with the main theme. This time it's dimension doorways and quantum physics. But my books are not outlines at all. I read Memoir of the Craft by Stephen King, and those are the two main kind of books. You know, there's character driven and plot driven, and I try to have characters I care about. I even care about my villains, believe it or not. I care deeply about my villains. My villains are people, that circumstance pushes them to madness, to wicked ways, etc. Okay? So they're character driven. And there are points that I want to hit, but I'm not an outliner. I have 9 notebooks and I have a few boxes of 3x5 cards. And if something's appropriate to talk about this next chapter, I take one of those cards and I use it, and I shred a lot of stuff. But there's no sequence pre-planned, So I'm at 11 minutes. So, all right. Good luck to you guys out there. Here we go.